Have you ever heard that expression, give me coffee for the things that I can change and wine for the things that I can't? You know, stuff like rejection, failure, loss, inconvenience, disappointment, all those kind of like negative things that life throws at us and that we can't really do anything about. Now, other than drinking lots of wine, what are some of the ways that we can handle those things? We're going to talk about acceptance today, different techniques that we can use to accept those negative feelings that we're having, accept negative situations, and still move forward in a healthy, constructive way. I'm Rosie Jewell with the Ananias Foundation. It's great to have you here with me today in the park again, and I'm ready when you are, so let's get started.
If you want to stop causing harm in your relationships, you're on the right path. This is Journey of Change, a video series to help you become the safe, loving partner you are meant to be.
Let me start with a question. How do you handle it when things are just not going your way? When you've woken up on the wrong side of the bed, or maybe you're having a bad month or a bad year? How do you handle those negative, challenging situations? I think many of us tend to get very overwhelmed and very fixated on the negatives. We're primed to take it out on other people, to lash out at our partner and our loved ones, where people are behaving in ways that are abusive. It's often that they're struggling to accept some kind of negative situation and the uncomfortable feelings that are coming out of that. And so they're responding, or rather reacting, by getting angry or trying to control their partner or otherwise behaving in some kind of harmful way. Now, the first step to handling these situations in a healthier way is to really understand what is within our power to control and what is outside of our power to control. And it's a fairly simple distinction, but it's one that I think all of us struggle to remember sometimes, and we struggle to live by it sometimes. You know, we have control over what we think, how we feel, what we say, what we do, and we don't really have control over what anybody else thinks or says or does or feels. When we try to control things that are fundamentally outside of our control, when we refuse to accept them, either by kind of shoving down the feeling or acting out on the feeling in a negative way, we're just going to cause damage to the relationships with our loved ones, and we're going to hurt ourselves and set ourselves up for disappointment. So let's say we've determined what is within our power and what is not, and we've done everything that is in our power to change a situation, to make the best of it, to try and influence things. And we've done all we can, and we still don't like the outcome. It just sucks still. Whatever it is, we just don't feel good about what's happening. What do we do then? That's where acceptance comes in. Let me give you an example. The other week, my partner went out on a Saturday night. He was super excited to go out with his friends. He'd been organizing it all week. I stayed at home and I did chores on a Saturday night while my partner went out and had a lovely time. Now, I think any of us would find that a bit challenging. It kind of sucked. I felt lonely, I felt left out, and I felt kind of down on myself. Now, the non-accepting version of me, the kind of first and worst impulse that I had, was to pick up the phone and yell at my partner and tell him, "You've made me feel really bad, you've left me out." Blame it all on him that I felt lonely. What I tried to do instead was practice acceptance. The technique that I used was kind of imagining my feelings as a passenger getting onto my bus. Now, I was still the bus driver, I was still in control, but this feeling walked onto my bus, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess I'm not feeling too good about this. They sit down and they travel with me on the bus for a bit, and I know that they're going to get off the bus at some point. And I also know that there are other passengers on my bus, other thoughts and feelings that I was having that day. So it really just helped me put things in perspective and let that feeling sit there for a while and then get off the bus of its own accord before I picked up the phone and yelled at my partner. So let me walk through some other acceptance techniques and see if any of these kind of like strike a chord for you, if they sound interesting, and if you might want to try them next time you're feeling disappointed with something, rejected, left out, Next time you're feeling sad, whatever it is, you're facing a bump in the road, what can you do to kind of accept the situation? I've been through the bus example. Another classic is to kind of look at your negative thoughts and your feelings as if they were clouds on a windy day, just passing you by. Or you could imagine that they're like a car driving past your window along the road. They're there for a minute and then they're gone. Another way you can look at it is imagine the thought or the feeling as if it were inside of you. It doesn't feel very nice, maybe it's like an organ inside of you. But instead of trying to restrict it or cut it out, push it out and deal with it as soon as you can, or ignore it and pretend that it isn't there, imagine yourself just growing and getting as big as you need to in order to give that organ, or that bad feeling inside of you, all of the space that it needs. You could also try kind of looking at the feeling as if you were a scientist, observing it with some distance. What does it look like? Is it animal, vegetable, or mineral? Is it solid, liquid, or gas? What color is it? What are the properties of this feeling? Another really good one that I've heard is kind of imagining the thought or the feeling as if it were a broadcast from a doom and gloom radio station, or maybe kind of like a message from a fascist dictator, or a pitch from a slick salesperson. They're trying to sell you some, newfangled washing machine. And that you're receiving a message, but you also know that it's not necessarily in your best interest to take that message to heart and to act on it. Finally, you can try looking at your negative thoughts and feelings and imagining that you're in a kind of a book or a TV show. Think about what is the name of the book, or the book chapter, or the TV show. What's happened leading up to this and what's going to happen after. All of these techniques really help us gain perspective. They help us see the forest from the trees. Instead of just being in the thick of our feelings and in the thick of our spiraling negative thoughts, we're taking a step back. We're trying to see the whole picture and decide whether or not we need to act on it. So I'll leave you with this question. What are some of the things that you've faced in life, whether as small as feeling a bit left out on a Saturday night, or as big as a job search that just won't end, or maybe losing a relationship or losing a loved one? What was in your control to change that situation, to improve the situation, and what was outside of your control? And part two of the question is, what are some of the acceptance techniques that you could use to kind of be at peace with the situation and move forward in a healthy way without acting out, without taking it out on other people, without dwelling on the negative? How could you kind of accept that feeling and then move on healthily? We'd love to hear some examples from your life about situations that you've struggled with, and maybe how they kind of affected your behavior. If you have any acceptance techniques that I didn't cover here today, I would absolutely love to hear them in the comments section below. So do let us know.
Thanks for joining me today. I'm honored to be on this journey of change with you, and I hope I've helped you in some way. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you. Also, be sure to hit the like button, share this with others who might find it helpful, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. For more resources, head to our website, ananiasfoundation.org. Until next time, take care, and remember, change is possible.